Okay, I think that's all working good. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Captain Quasar, and welcome back to another live stream. We're back again for another H3 waiting room. We got a few things to talk about today. We got some Instagram posts. We've got a news story, actually. Got a couple Reddit posts, and then two videos. I actually completely forgot to even, add one of them to the title. So maybe I'll clip that part out. But there's a Matt Walsh, a video about Matt Walsh that was made that I wanted to check out as well. But yeah, so we're going to get into all of that. Just want to make sure everything's going all right. Also, we're going to talk about Harley. He's stealing my whole flow. Do me and Epic Mealtime now have beef? Wouldn't be his first time. But yes, let's just jump right into it with a few Instagram posts that I have. I've been wanting to throw General Excess in a thumbnail for a while, so I finally did it. General Excess, you know, the guy who just does insane feats of strength. His strength is too much for anyone who knows. This is the most popular one. He's gonna feel that when he's 60. Yeah, he let like a car just run over his thighs. But then what he wanted people to do in this video is he wanted people to jump off this ledge onto his abs. To show the strength of his abs. His strength is too much, his abs are too much. I read this morning that Eugene is doing okay. I met him and Neil deGrasse Tyson at a bar at Comic-Con, and they were nice guys. Yeah, I've honestly been a fan of him, obviously since Bob's Burgers, because that's when I first heard about him. But then I got super into like his stand-up. I'm a really big Eugene Mirman fan. Like, I know his history of like his family moving from the Soviet Union and stuff. Like, a very, very interesting guy. And Gene Belcher from Bob's Burgers. What a life. But yes, the story's kind of crazy. But this is General Excess. Check this out. Is his strength too much?
Told you people that my strength is too much. It's me, General SS, the world's strongest man. The first unlike military general. Nobody should challenge me. Come on, the four of you are going to jump. You must jump. Number one, come on, jump. Come on, come on, come on. It's okay, come on.
That time it was too much for him. His abs just got absolutely crushed. You think he exhaled on it? I wonder if there's any way that he could have actually defended against this. Could he have prevented himself from getting hurt? They're putting ribs here. Because, yeah, he probably cracked a rib. I wouldn't be surprised.
I told you people that my strength is too much. It's me, General SS, the world's strongest man. The first unlike military general. Nobody should challenge me. Come on, the four of you are going to jump. You must jump. Number one, come on, jump. Come on, come on, come on.
Have you seen his old website where he sings songs like a baby? Now that's a deep cut. Now that's a real deep cut. Can you link it? Can you link it real quick? Oh, I wanted to play this too. Honestly, I've been getting really into Infinite Puppet. Infinite Puppet has been popping up a lot on my feed. Infinite Puppets, he's a masterclass of gloving. The tutting community has never had somebody so eloquent in describing the feats that they perform. But I'm gonna need to I'm gonna need to mute and unmute this because there is a song playing, but we just need to hear him talking. That's it. It's mostly about what he says at the end.
Whoa. Yo. Not this. This. The lyrics go Ray, right? It goes low and then high. Rain goes from high to low because of gravity, all right? She's doing finger rolls going down because she's trying to emulate the rain, okay? The lyrics and the gloving are contradictory. It just does not compute. This is not a good gloving song.
Take it from the master. You know what I mean? You can't You can't just play around with these things. There's a method to the madness, some may say.
If you're trying to do interpretive dance, it is not a good gloving song. It doesn't work. Whoa. In these waves? Yo!
See, I can never tell if he's joking or not. It's really hard to tell, because I think he's just feeding into it. See, I think that most people that are on Instagram have realized, like popular Instagram personalities, they realize that the way you get popular is by falling into your niche super heavy and then creating a caricature of yourself to perform on Instagram. And I think that this guy does it perfectly. But he calls her out. He's going to call her out.
Okay, we got oh, so weenie, so weenie, so weenie. Still being the satire Glover that you grew up to be. This is the perfect example of a Glover who was a satire Glover, became a closet Glover, and then became a real Glover. But you know what, so weenie? You have been doing so good within your gloving, I think you can call yourself a real Glover. That's right, my Glover. Baby.
That's what I mean, is like, there's no way he's being serious, right? Like, it's such a clear joke, and it's a pretty good one, too.
From Degloved, the very first gloving PvP rhythm game ever, just made this announcement. They said that this update will also come with better charting, by the way, which means that the devs are listening and they really care about the success of this game. But whether or not the charts are still bad or good, you're still not gonna deglove me. Ah, degloved! Degloved!
Yo, he got degloved. He got all of his skin ripped off of his body. That's crazy. That's what I think of every time I hear gloving. I just think of degloving. It tightens up my throat a little bit. And then this guy's a real legend. This is Pizza Inspector Jamal. So Pizza Inspector Jamal goes around to different athletes and asks them a very simple question.
What is your favorite kind of pizza? What's your favorite kind of pizza?
Thank you.
What's your favorite pizza?
Thank you.
What's your favorite pizza?
I don't like pizza.
What?
That's all you had to say the first time, right? Don't need to ignore the man. What's your favorite type of pizza? Who eats pizza? What am I, 5? I love pizza. But if you hate pizza that much, just act like she absolutely despises it. It's a possibility. Oh, thank you. I'll pull it up when we get to that when I get to the news. So I think I'll probably do that after the Instagram. Thank you, Madman. But yeah, she just straight up ignored him. See, I saw another clip. I wasn't able to pull it. Let me see if I can find it after this one. But here's another example. He's a little bit quicker on the draw. He had, you have to think about it for a minute. What type of pizza do I want? Are you going to bring me one? That's the real question.
Yeah, what is your favorite pizza?
Thank you for stopping.
Oh wait, never mind. I think he might just literally ignore him the entire time. Never mind. I thought this guy responded. I picked the wrong one. I thought this guy responded to him. Why did he post these ones? Like, there was one where he got a really good response. I'm gonna try and see if I can find it. My bad. My bad, Pizza Inspector. It's a golf course one. It might be this one, maybe?
Adam, what's your favorite pizza?
Favorite pizza? Anyone that I don't have to make.
You like pepperoni?
I love them all, to be honest
I do
with you.
too.
Pepperoni's great.
Right.
Yeah, I'm Italian guy, so some of the mushrooms and the olives and stuff like that as well.
Adam, what's your favorite pizza?
It's a complex philosophical question. You're right. You're right. There's a lot that goes into pizza. People don't think about that. Is this posting or your own L's and or W? He's posting everything though. That's the thing. He's not just posting his L's or just posting his W's. He's posting everything. Oh, okay. I think this is him.
Jamal Friedman here, pizza inspector. I'm at In-N-Out Burgers in Los Angeles, right near the airport. It's very loud here. You see, they even have 2 trees over
For a half a second, I thought he was just going to ask a random person walking out of In-N-Out, like, hey, what's your favorite type of pizza? But this makes more sense.
here
I guess.
that are crossed. It's a religious company here. I do pizza reviews, but I'm going to do the In-N-Out burger. This is the big double cheeseburger.
Okay.
Take a look at that.
44 and 46, please.
I ate
Yes, 42, please.
You ignore this guy? Look at this. The t-shirt tucked into the shorts with the belt. He's got Jamal Friedman, pizza inspector. He's got his name tag on him ready to go. In cheeses crust.
5 slices of pizza and placed down in a head. And I'm eating this now, and it still tastes great. It's fresh, never.
Here's the real question. Do you think he had this hat before going to In-N-Out, or do you think he purchased it at this In-N-Out? I think that's a real question.
Frozen in and out. Look how cool that is. Beautiful
Yes,
place at the
42 and
airport.
44, please.
The only negative to it is the airplane's landing come right over here. So it can get pretty loud. Other than that, there is nothing like an In-N-Out burger. Case closed.
Saying there's nothing like an In-N-Out burger isn't necessarily an endorsement. You know what I mean? I think that could be a backhanded compliment if you really think about it. Oh, there's really nothing like it. But what a good guy. Thank you, Jamal Friedman. The pizza inspector. He's 73 years. He has, is he 73 years old, or is he older than that? Because it says 73 years of eating pizzas all over the world. Because, like, I'm thinking that he might be 73, but it's like, well, I had my first slice at 4 years old. I remember it. I'm 77 now. Oh, here we go. Don't pay $20 for a haircut ever again. I don't pay for haircuts. I haven't gone to a barber in years. Quite literally, it's probably been around a decade since I've been to a barber, and I'm only 24. I'm about to be 25 in a month. So, like, it's been a minute. I just shave it all down. We just give it a quick buzz, and then I'm good to go for a few months. But I'm actually looking like I might need another one soon. But here's a little tip and trick for those out there. Here's all you got to do if you want something with a little bit more length to it. If you want something with a little bit of bangs, perhaps.
Haircut. Step on 2,000 motherfucker. Look at that. Hey? You're gonna pay $20. Oh. Fucking perfect! What the fuck? That's perfect!
He's right. It came out just the way he wanted. I mean, if that's what he does every single time, look at how it grows out. I think he'll be fine. Right? Might buzz my dome, it's touching my shoulders. See, it just takes a minute. See, my hair just grows up and out. That's the thing. At a certain point, it will fall, but then it's just like, at that point, I know I've gotten way too long. But right now, what? It's just like, it's not that long right now. Get it a little bit longer. See, it's just once it starts acting crazy, then I just shave it down for convenience sake. Okay, and then we can get into some clavicular stuff really quick. So this was a heart-wrenching clip. Clavicular says to a bunch of the girls that he invited out, that he misses his grandma. He misses living with his grandma. He wants to go back to the old days. He's tired of living this falsehood. He wants to live his truth once again.
With my grandma.
Your grandma?
There's music playing over this too, so I'm gonna need to kind of just play a second of it.
Yeah, I miss living with my grandma.
And then he basically just says he likes his grandma over anybody, and that it's not. I don't know. It makes sense that it doesn't seem like he has a very good relationship with his dad, and I don't know what his relationship with his mom is like. I don't think that's been discussed too much, but it seems like his grandma was probably the person supporting him. But damn, grandma, you couldn't have done a better job. Just gonna say that. Like, yeah, he's you couldn't have whipped him into shape a little bit more. It's okay to be a name dropper, madman. Clav's body proportions are so weird. I think this is edited. I'm looking at this and like this doesn't. I feel like even when I've seen the original image, I don't think that's right. Or I guess maybe that's a secondary image. I guess there's two. I guess there are two. But I'll never get over this guy. This was the OG. Clavicular isn't even original. And again, if we're going to talk about looks maxing, this guy makes Clavicular look emaciated. And that, again, isn't to say, oh, he looks tiny, oh, he's so small. But it's like, if you want to be like, oh, the alpha, I'm superior. Pfft. I just realized it says extra cream right on the side here. I shouldn't go to Imager. I'm just going to end up getting a bunch of crazy shit popping up. We got lucky that this wasn't anything crazier. Extra cream, right? What the fuck is this? You guys can't see the text. It says extra cream, right? And I see like what looks like a furry art or something. I'm really glad it wasn't like a, you know, like a fox with its dick out or something. We might have gotten lucky here. But beyond, did you already watch Clav get choked out? He didn't get choked out, did he? It was his friend. I don't think I can show that on stream though, because I can show maybe the image of it. Did he get choked out too? Because I could bring that up real quick. Honestly, I don't see that as bad as... Oh, he did it too? What a dumbass. Okay, well, he had someone else do it. His buddy also got choked out by... So is this literally just another... This is just some random person? Because this guy... got choked out by Armin Sarukian. Armin Sarukian choked this guy out and held him for probably 10 seconds after he was unconscious. He could have actually killed this kid. And yeah, he's a professional. He was applying the right amount of pressure. I think professional knows when to let go. The guy started literally seizing out while he was choking him. But here, I'm gonna look at this off to the side. I haven't seen this one. I saw the other clip.
Make sure it's to the sides of the neck. Ready? Yep.
Did they both just tell him two different things?
Go.
Just make sure it's to the sides of the neck. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, okay, he said not his windpipe. Okay, good. Good.
Wait, maybe lift up your arms so we know when you're gone.
Oh yeah. Lift up your arms.
Hold your arm up.
Oh, he's tapping. Don't do it.
Let me know.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
He's gone?
I think he's gone. He's gone.
Guys, you fucking morons. See, me and my friends did this when we were I'll tell you a story. I was I think we were probably like 15. We were either like we were 14, 15, or 16. I think we were probably 15 because none of us had cars or anything. So we're probably 14 or 15, I would say. Either my freshman or sophomore year of high school. Me and my friends used to do sparring. We had a few friends that did jujitsu and did Muay Thai and did judo. A few different like martial arts. So we would like practice with them and then go and spar with each other and do different things because we didn't do any actual training. And I remember one time me and my friends were sitting in a Dunkin' Donuts and my friend asked me to choke him. He was like, here, choke me out. I want to see like how long it takes. Cause he was, I think we were like talking about how long it takes or something. And he was like, there's no way. And we were like, he was like, no, do it. Let's see. And then it literally took like 4 or 5 seconds. And you feel them go, like you feel the relaxation in their body. And I let him go and immediately started to help him. And then he like freaked out because he like leaned forward, kind of like came to and was like, whoa, what just happened? Whoa. And started freaking out a little bit. It was kind of funny, not gonna lie. But I realized at that point that, yeah, it takes a very little to murder somebody by choking them out. So that's like a last resort, and you shouldn't just be doing it for funsies. But again, I was either 14 or 15 when we did this. Yeah, the twitching part. Yeah, he's definitely going to start seizing because they're holding this way too long. Damn, the snoring immediately. Brutal.
You're good. You're good. Let him choke.
They're fucking terrible too. Oh my god, they just let him slump at the neck and start like not getting proper oxygen to his brain.
Let him choke. Turn him over. You're good. He's okay. I'm here.
He's good. He's good.
Okay.
He's seizing out and they're saying he's good. My god. And the thing is his friend, unless this happened before, maybe this happened before his friend got choked out by Armin. Cause like,
I'm here. Turn to the side. Turn to the side. I'm here, bro. I'm here.
All right, man.
dude, they're telling you to lean him on his side and you keep trying to pull him flat to tell him, I'm here, bro, I'm here for you. Yeah, the title. Clavicular volunteers to be choked out live on stream and start seizure maxing on the floor.
I'm here.
He's good, he's good.
I'm here.
He's good.
Stars in. You're good. I'm here. Take your second. Take your time.
He's good.
Never do that shit again.
Yo. Wow. Yo, he's crazy.
Give me a second.
Holy fuck.
How do you feel?
I mean, it truly is like a hard reset on your brain. It like, no.
That was the craziest thing ever.
I know I'm not showing. I can't show somebody getting choked out on YouTube.
Yeah. No, just give him a sec. Let him sit real quick. Let him sit.
I don't think I can even show a seizure like that on YouTube. I feel like that would, I don't know, that's kind of fucked up.
Yo.
I know. Just give him a sec because if he stands up and falls, he's fucked.
So it was after. No, literally, let me look at the other clip now. Because his friend literally got choked out too. No, look, yes. I think they're literally wearing the same clothes and everything in these clips. Yeah, I think this is the same. This looks like it's probably this. Oh, no, okay, this is a different day. It is a different day. He's wearing a different shirt. Clavicular's wearing the same clothes for some reason. But literally the same thing happened. Like, the exact same thing happened. Anyone else realize whenever we watch a crazy video, Cap tells us about a story of when he was younger doing the same damn thing? What can I say? I was just a little rebel without a cause. Ooh. Sorry, accidentally playing videos off to the side. Closing windows. Hey, at least the stories are like decent, right? They're not too bad. But yeah, that's the clavicular stuff. Don't need to look at that much more. Pretty crazy. One last thing. Oh, wait. And then I wanted to play this because this was the other clavicular thing. So Clavicular he ended an interview with 60 Minutes after what seems like 60 seconds, apparently. What is this thing? Mog World Order. That's like who keeps making these clips. I keep seeing this. Mog World Order. Honestly, this guy kind of mogs Clavicular. Let's be real here.
You've obviously shared company with Andrew Tate and other, dare I say, rather controversial figures. Why do you
All right, have a nice day.
spend time with people like that?
Are you trying to, I see you want to make this political and stuff.
Not at all. I'm just
No,
curious.
that's what you want to do is like, you have two
He's blink maxing right now.
questions, so you want to,
Not at all.
you want to end
I'm
it and
at
talk
all doing
about,
I'm just
politics,
curious.
right?
No, not at all. I don't care about your politics. I know you're not political.
See, the thing is, I can't get a good read on him because I think they're in two different locations, and we're just seeing Clavicular's location. But who is this? I can't tell. I don't watch enough 60 Minutes. Doesn't look like any of these people. It's not Anderson Cooper. It's but regardless, it's just that Clavicular's trying to see. I think people don't realize that trying to retain a youthful appearance doesn't maximize your looks. What you want to do is age gracefully. And doing meth is not going to help with that.
Said that repeatedly.
Well, you
I'm just
definitely want to make it
When you get seen with
political.
those people, obviously people make
Here we
assumptions.
go.
I'm wondering what the
I guess
thought
you watched the
process
Piers
and
Morgan
motivation for you is
interview.
behind.
I guess you watched the Piers interview.
Well, it's just stupid to be like, oh, I'm not doing anything political. I'm just trying to talk about looks maxing while also dancing to HH by Ye and doing the Sig Heil. So, it's maybe you exist in like a state of ambivalence or something. I don't know. But I find that a bit hard to believe.
I did, yeah.
Too bad I didn't have time to look into, anything about potentially, who your wife cheated with. But don't try to go down that line of questioning with me, all right? Because I'm not doing any political gesturing.
I'm not married, but
no.
I was simply
Maybe you
only
maybe you got to
asking
look
because
back
obviously
then.
you've been filmed with these people.
Honestly, that was kind of a floundering move from Clavicular to be like, I don't know your wife, so I can't make fun of your wife the same way that I did Piers Morgan, but you don't want to mess with me because I'll figure it out. Talk about jester maxing.
So I could teach you about looks maxing then. Maybe you could switch that up. But thanks for the time. Appreciate the interview. All right. Oh, yep. All right. Let's go. Thank you, guys.
Hype mogged by this guy. Look at that frame mogging that happened. Flesh prison. What the fuck? Oh, it's a Wormwood video. Yes, I love Wormwood. Let's go. Why am I not subscribed already? Haven't I showed I think I've shown their content before. Yeah, I showed their good video before. Here, let's see their flesh prison video.
The Looks Maxer is a priest of the material god. The Luxmaxer is an autistic engineer who treats his own form as a machine, which must be made more efficient, more optimized for status. The Luxmaxer pursues the idea that perception is reality to its most extreme. Clavicular is its Gen Z avatar, and
yeah, I honestly, I love when people start like actually bringing in just like this isn't necessarily that, but like bringing in like esotericism or like other like aspects of like mysticism into things, being like, this is the avatar. As you can see, these are the eons in which God emanates, in which the Luxmaxing God emanates. For Clavicular is the Luxmaxing eon.
a symptom of accelerationism, completely rejecting all.
Let us look at the tree of life, the Sephiroth. And on it we find Luxmaxing.
Biological incentive beyond raw pursuit of perfect appearance. He is 19 years old and has already had several plastic surgeries. He microdoses methamphetamine as a nootropic to get leaner. He uses a cocktail of anabolic steroids and bone smashes his face with a hammer to shape his skull and jawline into the hunter profile.
Duh! How else is he supposed to look like? If he's not the hunter, then he is the hunted. Are you prey? Do you have a prey build?
He spreads his gospel to his followers, encouraging limb-lengthening surgery, injecting his girlfriend's face with peptide.
You know, what it really comes down to is it truly is, it's not jester maxing, it's not looks maxing, it's goon maxing. You know that 90% of this just comes from, like, porn brain. This idea of, like, being peak physical conditioning and peak, like, I know that that's what it must derive from. Because, I don't know, like, there's just certain... like the idea of like the hunter and the hunted and prey versus predator and like that, they're using like nature terms, but I know what they're talking about is in like sexual dominance. It's like truly like the thing that they're trying to say, and they see somebody who is not a Chad but a Chud. A Chud can never be someone to obtain sexual dominance, and I feel like that's got to be what most of this is just deriving from. But, like, they're just not looking at the right kind of porn. You gotta look for those fat 40-year-old dudes that got, like, a hook. Sorry, I didn't think before speaking. That just came out, and honestly, I shocked myself. My bad.
Followers.
Sorry, Peyronie's is not a joke. That's a serious condition. I pray for you all.
Jawline into the hunter profile. He spreads his gospel to his followers, encouraging limb-lengthening surgery, injecting his girlfriend's face with peptides, and prescribing...
Yeah, that is insane, too. Injecting... like, if you're gonna do it to yourself, that's one thing. Like, you know, I don't have a problem with, like, body modifications to some degree. Like, if you want to make yourself look like a demon or whatever, like, there's some guy on Instagram who literally is trying to make himself look like a demon. He's, like, removed his lips and his nose and his ears, and, like... giving himself, like, you know, the injections. There's people who get the donut heads where they put silicone in their forehead and then push a hole in it with their thumb. It's not like I have a problem with it, but when you start pushing it onto others is the issue. You should be doing things for yourself, not because you... like what's the point of trying to help others achieve looks maxing goals? It seems like the only reason that you'd be doing that is because you realize that actually accomplishes nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you realize that looks maxing it has like no net gains. So you have to try and accomplish like supplanting the ideas within the zeitgeist to make sure that everybody believes the same things you do. But I mean, it all comes in fads. We're all in and out. Yeah, this is just evil, though, straight up.
Prescribing aromatase inhibitors and testosterone therapy to teen audience members. Why does he do all of this? In his words, he wants to ascend. He rejects the human form and its mundanity and chooses to harness every means available to him to surpass biological limitation. His sissy hypno videos are chiseled.
This is honestly, everyone check out Wormwood. They're some of the best videos. These are great.
Jaw funk edits. His HRT is TRT. His dilations are eye socket pulls for ideal canthal tilt formation. Inherently, he is a cyborg.
See, I think Wormwood saw through it too. He sees that it's just porn brain, but in a different form.
Doing self-augmentation. He crushes and tugs on his skull as if to struggle against God himself, forcing himself to be sculpted like a retroactive character creator in a video game. He is entrapped in a Greek myth, a convict trying to dig through his own flesh prison with a wooden spoon. Clavicular sprints through the human consciousness, increasingly accelerating his antics.
Yo, why they hate watching a quirked up white boy dance? What's up? What's wrong with that?
Like so many streamers do in the desperate
right
Olympics of gathering attention on streams. He sneers at women who compliment his appearance in a jaded manner, burnt out by the burden of knowing too much about the human form. At his core, he carries the spirit of the incel, upset at the world he lives in for forcing him.
I saw somebody, you know what's funny is people like Clavicular are the ones to talk about like phenotypes and stuff like that. And I saw somebody else I saw like a post where somebody was pointing out that Clavicular has the phenotype of Luca Magnotta and Elliot Rodgers. And it was like, honestly, if you think about it, like his actions too, the kind of like sociopathic nature that he kind of exudes, this this want to be Patrick Bateman, you know?
To be this way. Every woman he fucks, every compliment he receives, every bit of adulation he garners is all directed to the Giga Chad mech.
Legitimately, Clav seems like he's going the way of Cobain or Cornell one day, like very soon. Dude is insanely depressed. I mean, seeing that clip of him talk about his grandma and like missing it, like I loved living with my grandma. It's like, yeah, doing all these drugs and stuff too, or just fucking with like it's fucking with your hormones. It's fucking with your emotional state. And like, it's not good when you already are having you're already having emotional struggles because of what's happening with your familial relations.
Suit that enshrouds him, none of it going to the pilot residing inside. His interest and enthusiasm peaks when he finds strangers, such as randoms in clubs who know nothing of his existence, or homeless crackheads he can ask for 1 to 10 ratings on his appearance. Clavicular is emblematic.
You know what I never realized before? It took this video of him walking. You know what Clavicular looks like? And I don't mean this in like a homophobic sense. He legitimately kind of has like a fairy build. Like, you know what I mean? He kind of looks like a mythical fairy. Like, doesn't he? He kind of has like a sprite look. Like he could be a sprite in a movie.
Such as randoms in clubs who know nothing of his existence.
Like, just give him a couple pointy ears and he could be an elf or something, maybe.
Or homeless crackheads he can ask for 1 to 10 ratings on his appearance. Clavicular is emblematic of the perpetual suffering cycle, a consistent dissatisfaction with existence that fueled the creation of the wheel, the construction of civilization.
Honestly, he's got the elf mindset too. He's fame-maxing, yes, you're right.
And the breaking of Van Allen's hymen with pursuant starcraft. He will never stop crafting himself at the expense of his health, life, and soul. He sprints towards the surface of the sun, either dying in glorious flame to be immortalized by his audience.
You know, I'm kind of like confused now. How did Clavicular ever gain this much mass? Because I've seen like I said, he doesn't look actually that. He's more toned than anything, and then he kind of just has decently large. What do you call those? Why can I not remember what this is called? Your wings. I forget what they're called. Whatever. He has like decently large. I keep wanting to say traps, but I know that traps are up here. What the hell do you call this? Whatever. But like I feel like I've seen videos of him doing lifts where he can't actually lift that much weight, and I feel like even with steroids, I'm kind of surprised at the physique that he was able to achieve. Your lats, thank you, your lats. That's it. Your lats, yes. Yeah, he has decently large lats, but then also I think he was going for like a slim waist to try and like make his lats appear bigger. This is a terrible image to reference this in because you can barely see what I'm talking about at all.
Sprints towards the surface of the sun.
He's been on tests since 14. Like, you're not even done going through. It's just like you can get, and the thing is you can get diagnosed like with I don't know what the conditions would be, but to have like a lack of have a lacking production of testosterone, and you could get prescribed testosterone at a young age, but doing it purely because you're like, no, you don't understand. I'm not vascular enough. I need to be popping with veins. Like, come on. Again, I think that above all, it should be function over physique. Function over physique is what matters the most. You could be a tubby guy and be doing crazy flips and stuff. But if you're like super buff and you lack mobility, it's not worth it. So his parents started this, to allow your kid at 14 to start again, maybe he got prescribed it. I don't see why. We've seen pictures of him when he was younger. He looks relatively normal for like his age. But yeah, if your parents are allowing you to start taking purely for some kind of like insecurity, that's very different. I'm convinced he was abused and has a lot of trauma. I don't know. His dad, it seems like I can't tell the relationship that he has with his parents either. That's like the weird thing. Because sometimes it seems like it's like, obviously it's not good anymore. I think he's had like a full falling out. But Clavicular at times seems like he is able to reach out to his parents and like talk to them in certain ways. But then like I've seen a video of him like kind of talking shit to his dad, but then I've also seen videos of his dad like calling him and him like kind of cowering in a sense, being like, oh, I'm sorry, and like really having to deal with it. It was that one clip where he was doing drugs on stream and his dad called him disappointed and he said, we gotta go donate or something. We gotta go do something nice. Come on, guys. Channel Movement by David. Great for flexibility workouts. Might have to check that out. But pre-test Clav was totally jester, bro. Oh, sorry. I hadn't thought about that. My bad. I take it all back. Keep it going, Clav. Keep it going.
Either dying in glorious flame to be immortalized by his audience, or breaking his spirit against the shackles of reality, like Liver King and so many.
He said he did it against his parents' wishes. Okay. I don't care if I end up being an overbearing parent. Like, no. Like, just no. Like, we're gonna have a conversation, we're gonna figure out what your actual issues are, and it's like I'm saying, if you wanna, let's just work, let's increase your workout regimen. Let's figure out natural ways that we can try and like, you know, if you're having these insecurities internally, let's actually figure that out. Instead of just telling you, no, you can't do the things that you want, but I also don't care to help you. Because I could see that being the route his parents took as well. Just throwing it to the side and being like, well, I don't care that much, but that's still wrong. That's still bad. I don't know. When you're a kid, I'm always going to put it on the parents. Like, I don't know. Like I think about it. And I think about like, you know, there's a difference between abuse and discipline. And I think about the levels in which we discipline our children and the levels in which we talk about, you know, we discuss the proper methodologies for discipline. And like, I think about the way my parents disciplined me, and my parents didn't hit me. They didn't like abuse me. The only time I could ever think of my parents ever like hitting me in any way was one time I was being disrespectful because I could tell like there was a interpersonal relationship issue between one of my parents and somebody else. And so I was like, I was putting up a front for their sake when that wasn't necessary coming from a child. And I said something pretty disrespectful about this person who was another family member, and my mom smacked me because it was like, you shouldn't be talking like that. Even if that's the way you think, that's disrespectful. And I didn't see it as, my mom didn't hit me hard, and I saw it as nothing more than wiping those words off my mouth, you know? And obviously I don't think putting your hands on your kids is right, but I also think that parents that sit idly by when their kids just start doing drugs and stuff, it's like, if you gotta put them lock them in a room for a day or two to really get them to clear their head, that might be what you gotta do. I don't know. As long as you're bringing them food and water and letting them use the restroom, you know, there's certain times when things might go awry. Mental illness is real. Depression is true. Just letting your kid lock themselves in their room also isn't the answer. Yeah, like, and that's what I mean is I realized looking back on that I was being disrespectful. There was no need for me to do to act in the ways that I did, and my mom was just correcting that in the quickest way possible. And yeah, and again, I think maybe we could have had a conversation about it, and I think we did after, you know, that we're gonna have a conversation about what it actually means to be a don't lock, that's illegal. Everything's illegal. I commit 20 crimes a day. They can lock themselves though. Don't lock, that's illegal. I mean, in what regard is it illegal? Because like I've said before, there's literally paperwork that schools send home that say that teachers are allowed to lock you in closets and rooms and stuff. I don't know if that's illegal. Again, as long as you're meeting the requirements for like proper like nutrition, schooling, all that things, I think parents can get away with a little bit more than they should, for sure. Fire hazard. Well, I guess yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah, you can't have like a lock on the outside and physically lock them. I just mean kind of contain them into a space is what I mean. Yeah, sorry. I guess I did word that poorly. Yeah, I don't mean to physically like lock them in there and be like, you're stuck. You can't go anywhere. Yeah, don't treat your kids like prisoners. You know, it's like you give them the ability to escape if they try hard enough. But, and then they have to deal with the consequences after, you know? It's the way the world works. We've all been there. You snuck out and then you're like, fuck. Now I'm locked out for the night. No. What do I do now? That's some teenager stuff, though. That's when it's like, yeah. Yeah, there was no need to sneak out. Oh, we didn't even finish this. I'm yapping too long. Yeah, but definitely don't board your kids in the room. Don't nail boards over your kids' doors. That is wrong.
Many other fitness influencers surpassing their prime. Clavicular is not a villain to be extinguished. He is a symptom of a world headed towards future human perception maximalism and more black holes of obsessive entertainment distraction. More claviculars with more extreme beliefs will be born every day. They will be men against the world, against reality itself, pushing towards the great immolation of the civilization that forced them to exist.
Clavicular dancing gets me every time.
Great immolation of the civilization that forced them to exist. They are the vanity rats of Universe 25, mogging their way into self-inflicted extinction.
God's Creatures, a Wormwood series. Couldn't have said it better myself, Wormwood. Yeah, you're right. That guy is so whack. Clavicular is so whack. I thought you said he was wacky for a second. He's wacky. He's just a quirked up white boy. But he has no swag. And here's the truth coming from the Rizzler himself. So, this is another case for Judge Riz. Let's leave it up to him. Let the man speak. The Honorable Judge Riz is now entering the courtroom. Court is now in session. I forget what they say. What do they say in court? Whatever. Take it away, Judge. Take it away, Your Honor.
Case number 2. Men that call themselves alpha. If you have to announce it, you're not it. Lions don't just go around saying I'm a lion. They just are. Guilty. Be serious. Case number 2. Men.
Let me play it again for the people in the back. Yes, exactly. No aura, no riz, no game, no honor. Shame, shame, shame. Tell him again, Rizzler. Let's hit it one more time.
Men that call themselves alpha. If you have to announce it, you're not it. Lions don't just go around saying I'm a lion. They just are. Guilty. Be serious. Case.
You know, coming from the Rizzler, we have to believe it. You're gonna take that, like, what? You're gonna throw that to the wayside? I don't think so. Thank you, Judge Riz. Honestly, this just makes me glad that it seems like the Rizzler's dad is raising him right. You know, he's teaching him the right path, the path away from evil. I saw this and this genuinely confused me. This was on r/mildly interesting. Melted slide at the park. This kid looks distraught. Imagine you pull up to the park, you're ready for your slide, the slide you love so much, the curved one. And it rained acid on it or something. Like, I don't know what could have caused this. Because the other slide's completely fine. You know, I've seen some plastic slides melt in the sun, don't get me wrong. But I guess they probably just set it on fire. Even setting it on fire, though, like, how is so much of it missing? Better than burning your ass off on slide goo? Hey, you just get rid of the slide, you're all good. Honestly, some kid isn't going to think about it and is just going to run, just, you know, muscle memory, and just jump straight down here thinking the slide's there. Just throw themselves down. Mom's going to be just sitting on her phone not paying attention. I can guarantee that. Okay. And then this, I accidentally pulled this up for a second earlier. Didn't play it though. A case that didn't sit right with me. I need everybody to pay close attention to the chips in play. Look at this.
You're too close. He thinks he can. He's just a liar.
Okay, we're here.
You know I'm right, though.
No,
that's the crazy part.
You were wrong.
Well, then why would you?
Everyone's laughing.
Oh, what happened? What happened right here? It rolled away. It slipped out.
1,000. Why would you?
Everyone's laughing.
1,000.
I mean, Maddie, Shayna.
You're gorgeous, though.
Squibb, Hannah, Ashley.
Lena then plays the chip. Here's the thing. Now, here's the thing people are questioning. They're saying, oh, Lena won this. She cheated. She stole one of AB's chips. No, no, no. I think they're in cahoots. You can see here that AB has taken the lead. He's taken the lead here. And Lena is actually a lot lower. You know, what is she? She's third to last. Or no, never mind. She's actually pretty high up here still. But was AB trying to give her a leg up? I don't know. Legally, that chip is hers. Hey, it came into her possession. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it, Buster? Look at this guy. Looks like he already tried to take a chip back from somebody. He got the what's what. He got the what for. Honestly, if they scammed us, they deserve the W. Hey, I'm not saying to take away or win. All I'm saying is maybe we need to put an asterisk and put a little asterisk by the, you know, just put it up there. Just saying. You got all these baseball players that were taking steroids that looked like you know, bobbleheads out there. I guess they don't look like bobbleheads. They looked like maybe the opposite. Some of them. But then you got Lena stealing chips. You know, I guess they're working. They're the IADs, the IODs. I don't know how to say it, but they're together. They come as a package deal. Buster. Listen here, a Buster. Okay, and then we have these two videos I want to look at. I think we'll be able to get through both of them, I hope. This one's a bit longer, but it's only 43 minutes. But this one is Ethan Klein versus Denims. Update Exhibit K costs Denims up to $24,000 coming from Lus. We're lusting for Lus. So, want to check this one out.
Hey guys, we get a surprise update, not a April Fool's update, but a surprise update.
April 2nd.
Another joint stipulation for hearing via stipulation in order. This is docket number 33 and docket number 34. If you guys remember, there was confidentiality and we were not seeing the docket being updated. Even though things were happening, we knew things were happening from the H-free snark. They would sometimes reference discovery components that we didn't see. These discovery components were relating to Denins, even though we didn't actually see them in the original Denins file. So when you follow this case, it has now been just opened up. There's been more updates. The updates have been more regular. And one of these updates is the video. So specifically the video or Exhibit K. So this is a brief description of the case. March 3rd, 2026, the court stayed this action pursuant to stipulations from TI and Denins. So they stayed the action. Now they're lifting the action. March 31st, 2026, the court granted stipulation and lifted the stay for the limited purpose of allowing Denins. Again,
Yep, it's taking me I'm trying to lock in too. I'm trying to pay attention to what he's saying, but he's getting into the legal jargon here a little bit. I'm not following too well. I've got to be honest. I'm trying.
Predicted it was Denins who was going to file the MPJOP.
Because what I'm gathering is was it just another filing saying that they would have? Okay, maybe I'm going to restart it just a bit. I'm going to go back to a minute.
A brief description of the case. March 3rd, 2026, the court stayed this action pursuant to stipulations from TI and Denins. So they stayed the action. Now they're lifting the action. March 31st, 2026, the court granted stipulation and lifted the stay for the limited purpose of allowing Denins. Again, like I predicted, it was Denins who was going to file the MPJOP. The MPJOP on April 17th, we will probably actually see that document here. So previous to this...
Okay. That's what it is. Okay. The motion of partial judgment on the pleading. So that's what she was filing to get at least a partial judgment, probably for... It's probably to try and remove some of the... Would you consider them charges, the claims? Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it is so far. This video goes on for quite a bit longer, so let's let him continue.
These updates, the updates were confidential. They were not in the docket, very similar to what was it's still happening In Frogan's case, there hasn't been a response even filed. That cannot be right. That cannot be right. Too much time has passed. It might just be some confidentiality. It may be understanding of the court. Waiting on Denon's case. There's something else at play there.
If that... She still hasn't even responded? That's crazy.
So here you have dates. And these dates mean we get updates. Updates that will appear on Court Listener. Very, very different from where we were just a month ago, where everything was blank. Nothing was being updated. One of the curious things is apparently a video attached.
Oh yeah, still just August 5th, 2025. Extending the deadline extended to October 3rd, 2025. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, but I get what he's saying is that's just what it's showing online, so it might just be that it's confidential for some reason.
File, which shows the countdown to the nuke wasn't correct, meaning they have to update it, they have to resend it. It's called Exhibit K. So proposed order setting, briefing schedule, and authenticating corrected Exhibit K to the complaint. So Exhibit K was coming from Ethan Klein. I don't know what it is. Exhibit K basically just says USB drive. So we don't have access to the USB drive, but if you search Exhibit K in the original Ethan Klein filing, the first filing, docket 1, you're going to figure out that Exhibit K is simply the video on the countdown and on the nuke itself. Upon consideration of the joint stipulation setting briefing schedule by between defendant Alexandra Denons and TEI, and for good cause, the court rules hereby shown that Denons shall file her motion for partial judgment on the pleadings on April 17th. TEI has a chance to respond May 1st. It's going to be interesting. All of this will be public now, in my opinion. The confidentiality thing, that's kind of faded. Today, on the live stream, I don't know if I want to do live stream. My neighbor's been doing construction since Sunday, and he's still, they work really hard. Give them credit. They do work really hard building whatever they're building over there. But I felt like Denons, the last live stream on Denons, we didn't finish. We got up to the part about Frogan, and that was the most we could do. An hour and a half of Frogan, of Denons, of Ethan Klein talking about Frogan, and Denons reacting to Ethan Klein talking about Frogan. I thought there was some pretty interesting stuff left to review. We do cover Frogan on this channel as well. Here's Exhibit K, which is a video file located on a flash drive concurrently filed with the notice of lodging. What is wrong with video? What is wrong with a video file? I don't know. It has to be authenticated. So I'm guessing that it has to be sent to Denon's team, her free lawyers, then have to watch another 4-hour video. Actually, they mentioned it was a 10-hour video. So this is Exhibit K. Denon's broadcast on Twitch was over 10 hours long due to the file size. It was separated into 2 video files, a true and correct part. So it might have something to do with 10 hours of video. It's a lot. It's a lot of video. So the lawyers, to authenticate it, have to sit down with Denons for 10 hours. And
I guess that's because her actual reaction to it wasn't 10 hours, right? It was only it was still pretty long. It was like 4 hours or something. Because, yeah, the video itself's 2. I think hers was maybe 3 or 4 hours or something like that. But then, yeah, she was doing a countdown to the video. A waiting up to it.
Watch that video.
I don't think Les has watched the nuke. That would be interesting. I'd kind of want to ask him that. Maybe I'll hop in the next time he's streaming and ask him in chat. Everybody just spam the next time in chat. Have you watched the full video? I feel like he probably has. He's been talking about it quite a bit. I'd hope so.
It's a little alarming. We have this video here. It's only 4 hours. I don't know where the 10 hours is coming from. I don't know where the...
I think it's a 10-hour stream. So it was a 4-hour probably a 4-hour reaction of the actual content nuke, and then a 10-hour stream that she did in the build up to it, and possibly after too. I don't know if she streamed after the content nuke or just ended it after that, but yeah, that makes sense.
The extra 6 hours was that the preparation for watching the nuke, but that would be the countdown to the nuke. So I'm not exactly sure why it would be 10 hours. Maybe somebody in comments can let me know. But
Les was watching Denim's react to it. I mean, I guess he could get like the content of the video through that in a way, but did anybody watch that and know how he described her actual, like, her credibility of fair use, or like her use of the content? Because I'd actually like to know what his opinion on that is, because I've only seen a bit of it, because again it's like 4 hours long. But the bit that I've seen, and again it's outlined pretty clearly within the legal documents, that the actual contents that she speaks on, like the gaps in speech that are just like dead air, it outlines it all pretty specifically. So, but I would like to hear his opinion on that. He thought she was cringe. Fair enough. Don't we all? Why isn't my soundboard working? Oh, it's not on. That's why. Is it gonna pull up? Not? No. That's a double bonk. That's a
Kiss on my lips.
Oh, that wasn't right. There we go.
The lawyers have to authenticate it. They have to watch it for 10 hours. This is not fun stuff to do. Well, I guess if you're getting paid $800 an hour to watch it, it's probably okay. But for me, it's very painful logic. It's very... so we will be covering the rest of the 4-hour Dennin's video. When I do jump around because it does get very, very... I don't want to say boring, because it's not boring, right? We're obviously trying to find out if she's copyright infringing. So every action, every movement, every comment. There's a part in the video where we just like randomly get there and she's like talking in like baby language, like da 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 da. So it's a very, like, I don't want to say like it's just like, for me personally, I can't live stream more than like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I just don't have that temperament. So for her to live stream 10 hours on a topic is really something else. I don't know if I can live stream 10 hours on any topic in my life, even patterns. I love to nerd out. Maybe Magic the Gathering, if we're just opening packs and we have like
sitting down for 10 hours opening packs, though, I feel like my hands would get tired.
Different packs to open. Maybe Pokemon.
Just cracking packs all day. What a life.
But live streaming about Hassan or Den, that's just not going to happen for 10 hours. So anyway, on our live stream, please join our live stream. It'll just be a really fun, casual Friday live stream. We'll watch the rest of Dennin's reaction to...
I think this is probably the end of what he's talking about here, but shout out Lus. It seems like he's doing his due diligence, but he should do his due diligence in watching the actual full content nuke, just all the way through, just even on his own time, just play it while you're doing something else. Just so you can kind of watch, just so you know what to be prepared for when she's reacting. But a quick thing I want to say is, Harley's stealing my whole fucking flow, bro. He's been here for fucking, what, like 5 hours? How long has he been here? Been like 3 hours. He did a 10-hour stream the other day. Stealing my whole flow, bro. Will you put a like on the video? Of course, bro. I already did, but...
Kiss on my lips.
You did blackface. Just completely turn. What else was I going to pull up? Oh, that's what. Let's cover this quickly. Let's go over this. So, since it's in the thumbnail, I want the newest update on this. I don't know if I can pull up the article. I feel like every time I pull up an article, I'm afraid that's what's going to get me in trouble. But I think it'll probably be okay. This is a Variety article. Bob's Burgers actor Eugene Mirman speaks out after surviving fiery car crash. I'm on the mend and thankful beyond words to be here. Eugene Mirman, the voice actor best known for playing Gene Belcher in Bob's Burgers, has spoken out after surviving a fiery car crash earlier this week. I don't know. Here, they probably have an image of it. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. Here, I'll just read this part too. He crashed his 2026 Lucid Gravity into the Bedford Toll Plaza shortly before noon, according to a press release from New Hampshire police. The NHPD identified the 51-year-old Mirman as the driver. As the vehicle erupted into flames, Mirman was pulled out of his car window and assisted by witnesses, including a state trooper, alongside New Hampshire. Oh, okay. I was thinking this was a road for some reason, but yeah, along New Hampshire Governor Kelly Ayotte, who happened to be driving with her security detail near the wreckage. Mirman was transported by ambulance to a nearby hospital. I want to thank the trooper on my security detail and the bystanders who stepped up to help at the scene of the crash for their brave life-saving efforts today. Ayotte said, sorry, I'm trying to make this bigger so I can read. Now I can't read at all because I'm misplaced where I am. Ayotte said in a statement shared on X, Joe and I are praying for a full recovery of the driver who was injured today. And that had just happened to be Eugene Mirman. But he is apparently doing fine, which is good. And he made a post saying, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for all the well wishes. Love and kind messages from friends and strangers. He wrote in an Instagram caption, I'm extraordinarily thankful to the heroic people that pulled me from the car and to the warm, kind, and talented staff at the hospital that cared for me and got me on the mend. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do the news thing. It's kind of weird to do it in the middle of the segment. Should my poll just be exactly what Harley's is? Here, I'll just put I'll make my poll exactly what Harley's poll is.
Tutus, fam, big chill tings.
Tutus, fam. Boo.
Boo, Bert. Hell yeah, pimp. Tutus, fam, tutus.
Here, I'm gonna literally write it word for word. This is his whole stream, is just him playing a game, acting like he's from Toronto. Honestly, I'd pay for 10 hours of that. Like on the video, question mark. Of course, bro. I guess so. Hell yeah. Tutus fam. That's what I'm gonna put as the fourth one. He didn't have a fourth option. Let me just hear that again.
Boober. Big chill tea. A huge super chat. Tutus fam. Big.
Tutus fam. Perfect. There we go. Will you put a like on the video? Let me know. Okay, I'm extraordinarily... Let me just finish this up real quick. We're almost done with this story. But he said... he's very thankful for the staff of the hospital that cared for me and got me on the mend. I am thankful beyond words to be here and doing relatively all right. All things considered, I do not have my phone, or I'm doing relatively all right, all things considered. I do not have my phone, so haven't been online much. I do not recommend my method of decreasing screen time. If you're a friend who sent a kind, loving message, you should know that it was hard to not respond with, I'd love to be on your podcast. I love you all, and please take care of yourselves. Eugene. Do they have a... I guess maybe they're still... Okay. Apparently, so while driving on the F.E. Everett Turnpike in New Hampshire on Tuesday, Mirman crashed into the Bedford Toll Plaza, which NBC Boston reports is a notorious location for car accidents. That just seems so crazy. Like, what? As his car burst into flames, he was pulled from the wreckage, and then, yes, we read all of that already. But here he is in recovery, I think. Yeah. Here's the image he posted here. Let me see. Was this multiple, or was this just the one? Give it a like. Shout out Gene. And then, yes, I want to pull up this thing Madman sent me. Pull this up. Oop, I need to full screen it. What should I pick? What do you think? Here, I'll do Cats in the Cradle. Wait. Why isn't it playing? Oh, that's why.
We'll be together. Then the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. And when you're coming home, Dad, with the man in the moon, I won't see you, son. We'll be together. Then, we'll have a good time then. Daddy! Daddy!
Well, the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when. We'll get together then, Dad. You know you'll have a good time then. What don't you like about it? I don't understand. What's the issue? Tutus, fam. Tutus. But let's move on. On to the last thing we have for today. That was everything. I'm trying to think of the thumbnail. General excess, clavicular, Eugene Mirman. Now we can get onto this. This is Matt Walsh's Fascist History of Slavery, debunked. Now, I don't know if I needed it debunked. I feel like it would probably be pretty obvious to anybody who knows even the slightest bit about history. But I saw just the beginning of this and I was intrigued by this creator. So I'm going to actually, maybe I'll wait on the subscribe. You know, we'll wait on it for just a second. Sorry, I'm unsubscribing. Might resubscribe though, give me a sec. We got to get into the video first. I need to actually see how good it is. I did like the intro, so I'm going to give it a like. At the very least. But yes, this is Matt Walsh's Fascist History of Slavery, debunked by Atunche Films. I'm definitely not saying that right. Atunche Films, Atunche Films, something like that. It's fine. Let's go.
Are you doing okay, sweetie? Are you getting enough to eat?
Oh my God, yes, Mom, I'm fine. Just stop fussing over me, okay?
Sure. So how's work going?
Not good. Views are down. I need a hit. I need a solid gold hit.
Why don't you do a response video? Like that nice, clean-cut young man, Milo Rossi. He makes more money than you do, you know.
I don't do response videos, Mother. They're for troglodytes. And that Rossi bastard has been ripping me off for years. He's basically built an entire career off of my old Nazi archaeology video. Did you know that when he debunked ancient aliens and mentioned that a friend texted him that Eric von Daniken died, he didn't even have the decency to mention that I was that friend? I get no credit from him. I get no thanks.
Well, you should think about it.
All right. I'll think about it.
Yay! I love you. I'm always so thrilled getting a chance to talk with...
Yeah, you can add Harley to the thumbnail now. I'll add Harley to the thumbnail and me just pointing to him like this, and it'll say, "This guy stole my whole flow."
Matt Walsh's Real History of Slavery. That could work.
All right, let's get this fucking show on the road. I guess Milo had a game, a drinking game. I guess we had to play one too. How about what sword shall I kill myself with? African or European? Something I'm going to need you guys to understand right off the bat is that this...
No matter what sword you use, it's always seppuku, right? Doesn't matter.
This is not what we're about to watch, this whole thing. This is not a kind of good faith attempt to educate the public. We're going to do the response video thing, do that whole little ritual. It's going to be fun. You're going to learn some stuff about Black history. You're going to learn how to sort of respond to these disingenuous talking points. But let's be very clear here about what this is. This whole media operation, the Daily Wire, initially got going because of funding from the oil and gas industry. The fossil fuel industry pumps an enormous amount of money into conservative kind of culture war causes. 80% of anti-trans media operations, I'm going to put up the article to, to fact check myself because I might be sort of half remembering here. But 80% of anti-trans media operations take fossil fuel money. Matt Walsh is a stooge of the fossil fuel industry, and he is telling us a story that will distract us from the destruction of the biosphere of planet Earth by the companies that own him. And so we will sort of talk about this and we'll argue back and forth about this, that, or the other thing. Oh, who had it worse, the Irish or the blacks or whatever. Meanwhile, fossil fuels set the planet on fire. And the executive...
See, I've been talking about this. They want us to fall for the scapegoats. People are so dense that they don't realize that you're falling into the ploys of the elites. When you're trying to I'm uncovering the truth. I'm a true conspiracy theorist. No, you're a pawn. At least try and be a rook or something. Be a queen who can move on in any direction in any way she wants. Be a knight and take the L. Be a bishop, because I always be moving to the sides. And be a... I think I got it mixed up. Does a bishop? No, I don't care. Never mind. I'm going too far into just this chess analogy. Who cares? I couldn't remember which way a bishop or a rook goes. I forget.
To whom Matt Walsh is but a lapdog, can continue to make ungodly amounts of money while we die of preventable man-made famines. That's what's going on here. And if there were any justice in the world, all of these fossil fuel executives, basically anybody working above, say, a $60,000 pay grade at any fossil fuel company would be in fucking prison. Matt Walsh would be rotting in fucking prison if there was any justice in the world, but there isn't. So let's watch the real history of fucking slavery.
For more than half a century, anti-American propagandists have waged a demoralization campaign against us. They've waged intellectual warfare against our founding fathers and national heroes.
We're already leaving. Founding fathers and national heroes. Holy shit.
They desecrated their reputations, tore down their statues. One professor from the University of Wisconsin spent 11 years administering historical literacy tests to his students. He discovered...
This was honestly a pretty decent way to structure the video, but I'm noticing cropping errors. There's a bit of a cropping issue up here in the corners, trying to do the rounded MacBook Edge. Sorry, just a little thing I noticed. I'm always one to critique a little bit of the editing process. Just a little something.
That they overwhelmingly believed that slavery began in the U.S., was almost exclusively an American phenomenon.
So let's find out what the college fix is. Something tells me it's not going to be a reputable news source.
We're launching a monthly series setting the record straight on various historical topics. We'll give you the facts that the propagandists and idiot school teachers have left out of the...
Okay, so idiot school teachers, clearly this sort of rallying cry of anti-intellectualism, right? I mean, this is sort of, deny the evidence of your eyes and ears, deny the experts that might be saying stuff like fossil fuels are destroying the climate. Here's the data.
Hey, y'all. Hey, Captain. So glad to be looking at a totally normal stream with a totally regular skinned streamer. Nothing out of the ordinary here. You see, Clavicular's trying to looks max to ascend, but I've race maxed. I've ascended. What the fuck did I just say? No. Fuck. No, I'm not, no. Let's just move on. I've ascended.
And then you can say, oh, but you're just an idiot intellectual academic. I heard from the Daily Wire that that's not happening. Listen to me, failed screenwriter and stooge of oil and gas, Matt Walsh. This guy belongs in fucking prison.
What we don't learn in school is where those slaves actually went. Just under half of them, an estimated 5.4 million, went only to Brazil, and many more went to the Caribbean. 1.2 million went to Jamaica, more than 900,000 to St. Dominique, and 889,000 to Cuba. The grand total of slaves brought to the future United States was about half the number brought only to Cuba.
Okay, so this is...
Even if that... I don't know what he's going to say. Even if that is the case, oh, that makes it okay then. Oh, cool, then it's fine. What? But even if that is the case, I imagine that would probably just be due to like the routes, like the travel routes, because it would be easier to just, if you're traveling by ship, to then sell and trade what would be a closer distance to travel. So like, of course that would make sense, but that doesn't negate any of the wrongdoing of any one of those countries in their slavery. We think slavery is bad in any of those countries, in all of those countries. What was the point? Okay, maybe it needs to continue. Maybe he's gonna make some actual point, but let's let I don't know what this guy's name. Let's let a ton speak.
Obviously meant to kind of absolve the United States of sort of guilt from slavery. Specifically, here's why this is fucking stupid and makes no sense. So basically, in overwhelmingly driving all of this human trafficking were European powers, right? You know, England, later Britain, France, Spain, Portugal, these sorts of places, right? Now, all of these empires, these Atlantic empires, had colonies kind of up and down the seaboard of you know, the Americas, right? I mean, so this sort of cordoning off kind of the future 13 colonies, or the sort of contiguous United States, as its kind of own separate entity when the transatlantic slave trade was at its height, just doesn't really make any fucking sense, because that's just not how the Atlantic world operated. That's not how the transatlantic economy operated, right? You had...
I have this both sides type of shit people Walsh do when it comes to atrocities. The whole point is to go, look, it was normal, so it wasn't that bad. And it's like, no, but we could just look back, and it's just funny because it's just what you're doing is you're starting with like a presupposition, like you're believing already that because it was normative, that means it's okay. But you would disagree with the normative like, it's just dumb. It's so dumb because they obviously disagree with things that are culturally normative in today's society, and would say that it's bad, but then look back to ancient norms and say that that justifies any wrongdoings from the past. And it's just, yeah, it's yet another double standard for sure.
British interests in, you know, Savannah and Philadelphia and Boston, but you had sort of intertwined interests in places like Barbados, right? In places like Jamaica that were very heavy sort of slave factories for the British, right? So it would be one thing, right, if he sort of was trying to sort of argue that the Portuguese and the Spanish were worse somehow than the British, as this sort of form of cultural chauvinism. Like, at least there you'd have like kind of a little bit of an argument. But as is, it's nonsensical. And the reason is because this is not in good faith, because Matt Walsh is a stooge of the fossil fuel companies and belongs in fucking prison.
The ones who came to the 13...
Yeah, exactly. It's weaponized moral relativism and a pragmatic approach to just bad stuff in general. Yeah, it's... Because, yeah, I mean, you can be like a pragmatist or whatever and but there's still like a difference between that and just like the erasure of history and like come on. Because it's like, I mean, it's like when people say, when people talk about like, oh, Hitler wasn't that bad. Look at what Stalin did. Look at what Mao did. Look at what Leopold II did. Look at all of these different people. And it's like, yeah, guys, but it's about the context within like the actual, like the standing. And Leopold II is probably a good example of someone in a similar light to Hitler. But even then, it's like it happened in a different context in like a time period before the Great World Wars and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like that's even all of this stuff. It exists within a context, yes, but then that's why it shouldn't be like, because it exists within a context. It's hard to then try and utilize that in a discussion of a completely different context. If that makes sense. I feel like that was probably a confusing way to say it, but I don't know a better way, so let's continue.
Colonies were the lucky ones. In the context of global slavery, getting put on a ship to New Orleans was really a best case scenario.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I live in New Orleans, right? Recently, we filmed an interview with Dr. Ibrahim Asek, who is the director of research at the Whitney Plantation, which is over on River Road, about 40 minutes outside of the city, as part of my docudrama, The Vampires of New Orleans. And Dr. Asek was telling us about how enslaved people, when they came to New Orleans, when they came to Southeast Louisiana, they ran away, they formed their own communities in the swamps, they joined forces with the indigenous Natchez people to attack French settlements. He even told us of some enslaved people, like when they first got there, who drowned themselves in the Mississippi River rather than face the indignity of being enslaved for life. I don't think that any of those Africans who were brought here to Louisiana would have seen it as the best case scenario. And I don't think Matt Walsh, who, by the way, belongs in prison for knowing disinformation that is designed to unravel democracy itself and propagate the needs of these fucking...
Yo, Matt, this guy's defaming you, bro. Sue him. Sue him. Take it to court, please.
In real life vampires in the fuck...
Take your disinformation to court. Let's see what happens. See, I love when people speak this, like, I guess brazen's a good way to put it, but not in like a... Some people, I feel like brazen almost has like a bad context around it, but I feel like he's speaking very aggressively, and I love when people do that, because it's like, if you're spitting facts, you're spitting facts. You don't need to, sugarcoat it in any type of way in the hopes to save your own ass, because you can just save your ass in court. Just do it later. It's fine. Get a public, because honestly, if you're speaking just the maximum amount of truth with no other like opinions added onto it for the use of defamation, then I mean, just get a fucking public defender. Defend yourself. Be like, Your Honor, this is my First Amendment right. I'm just spitting the facts. But let's continue. I guess the opinion is that he should be in prison. But even that, I don't know if you could consider that defamation, because that is just an opinion. So I don't know. Let's see.
Fucking oil and gas industry. This fucking guy, if he was in that situation of an enslaved person here in Southeast Louisiana, I bet your fucking bacon that he would not have fucking been like, oh, I'm so lucky. By the way, I've got a video called The Cannibal Slave Ship, which is about the Portuguese schooner Aragante at the height of the illegal slave trade in the early 19th century. If you want to get an actual good idea of what it was like for enslaved people on those ships, I'm going to link that in the fucking wherever, in the description or wherever the fuck.
The Kingdom of Dahomey. The kingdom's wealth, its military power, and its cultural splendor were built entirely on the systematic capture, sale, and export of human beings. A Dahomean king named Gezo described the slave trade as the ruling principle of my people. It is the source of their glory and health.
Okay, yeah, fuck this guy. Fuck this king. Fuck all kings. Like, what?
Yeah. Again, it's like you're appealing to the sensibilities of a slave trader. It doesn't matter where they came from, who they are. They're a slave trader. That's the thing, is we're not looking at it from a racial view, Because that's the thing. That's the only thing Matt Walsh is caring about. Is literally this whole video is just him going, "See, it's not just white people. You guys want to make it all about white people, bro. We live in the United States. Well, you know, some of us, but you get my point. Is like the context is obviously appropriate, and just saying, oh, well, look at all of these other countries and other peoples that did the same thing, if not worse, does not, again, negate from the atrocities committed by your country and its history. And again, I don't think that like something like the absolute just massacre of the indigenous populations across the Americas would mean that like the countries should be completely dismantled, and like but like there should be some type of reformation and uplifting of those communities, and that goes for the indigenous people and those who were part of the slave trade and their descendants. So it's like there's ways to figure this stuff out, and there's obviously more complicated in certain at certain times and in certain contexts, but at least putting your best foot forward is what we should do, instead of just trying to pass the buck on to somebody else, being like, well, look at the African king sold them to us. What? I was just buying what was on the market.
How does this somehow absolve Europeans at the helm of the transatlantic slave trade of their responsibility in this? And by the way, again, what he leaves out, something that Dr. Sek was telling us when we were filming our movie, is that who is encouraging this perpetual warfare, right? Who is creating this demand for human trafficking? Was it the kings of Dahomey? To some extent, sure, but maybe a slightly bigger factor was that West Africa at this time was becoming sort of enfolded in the global network of capital. Economic pressures were coming into the region, right? People were becoming dependent on this global network of trade, and Europeans were at the helm of it. And in order to play, these West African kingdoms had to fucking pay. And that meant that they had to wage war on their neighbors and create that, that supply of flesh for the Europeans. Doesn't absolve them, the Dahomians, not at all. It doesn't absolve them. It's not a question of like that they are blameless here. Like, of course, fuck them. But let's have an idea of the bigger picture here.
The Dahomey Amazons. They were the chief slave catchers of the empire. The Amazons would raid nearby towns and return with large contingents of slaves, along with the heads of anyone who resisted. According to one historian, quote, when Amazons walked out of the palace, they were preceded by a slave girl carrying a bell. Sound told every male to get out of their path.
God, he really fucking hates black women, doesn't he? So, I think sort of the obvious implication here is that, like, this is what wokeness gets you. It gets you black women with spears who will kill all men. This is what feminism will do to us if we let it. I think that's what he's.
You know, honestly, that's a good read on that. I didn't even necessarily put that together because it was slipped in there so quickly. It truly is one of those, like, it wasn't even a dog whistle because it was kind of blatant, but I feel like it was slipped in there to where it did feel like it was just a continuation of the other things that he was saying. Matt Walsh is too good at being a bigot.
He's going for here.
It was far preferable to be sold to Europeans than to remain in Dahomey. In 1893, the Sacramento Daily Union reported, quote, hundreds are annually put to death with the most savage tortures. They are dismembered limb by limb. They're tied to posts, and hounds are set to worry them to death.
Okay, so he's getting an article from a newspaper, an American newspaper in 1893 to talk about how, barbaric the Dahomians were, conveniently leaving out that this is happening kind of at the tail end, right? 1893, this is happening at the tail end of the French invasion of Dahomey. So basically, clearly what this newspaper is reporting on are kind of these colonial narratives that have been kind of disseminated into the Western world by these French colonizers. Even if all of these stories are true, and they very well may be, the kingdom of Dahomey was a very brutal state, right? It was not a nice place. Even if this was completely true in every way, Matt Walsh and Daily Wire would still be repeating colonial propaganda uncritically. Who's writing this?
No, yeah, again, that was kind of the point I was making, is that you're not assessing anything that you're stating. You're just stating things that are kind of like half-truths. Because yes, like what, and again, it's like expand upon what the actual ideas you're trying to express are, because we can see through it. Like we can see that you're just a bigot who's trying to exercise his bigotry. But again, I think Harley said it best. Just be racist. If you're gonna be a racist, just be a racist. Stop all of this like trying to hide it, trying to mask your ideas and your beliefs. Just stand on it if you think that it's true and prove it to us. It's cowardice.
Who's writing the article? Where are they getting their information? Why don't we look at the sources that the Daily Wire has put in this the description maybe of the video? Oh, look, there are none. There are just ads.
Just what is a woman? Am I racist? I love the Am I Racist movie. Yes, Matt Walsh, yes.
More hit documentaries and the Pendragon Cycle Rise of the Merlin, which is now streaming.
See, and I hate when people talk about this like, oh, I don't hate other racists. I'm not a racist. No, you literally believe that there is a racial, there is a genetic difference between the races that impacts social behavior. And that is something that I mean, if that's not something Matt Walsh believes, he's fooled me. And people forget that is true racism. Like, you don't need to think like, oh, I hate all of this race. That doesn't mean that you're a racist. Like that is racist. Like that is to be a racist, but like it's deeper than that. It's this hierarchy of superiority and the belief of inherent traits that are not caused. You know, it's the nature over nurture argument, and thinking that those things are just purely embedded into different races inherently. To be fair, Matt Walsh. People like Walsh should get off on being victims, and they project that onto the entire left. They love feeling like the martyr or the underdog. And like, you're just not. You know, that's the worst thing about like a colonialist mindset, is they want to be the underdog, but they also want to be the winner. Matt Walsh doesn't just want to be the underdog, because the underdog loses. That's the thing. The underdog at times loses. The underdog very rarely overcomes and is, and achieves success beyond. But you're the underdog for a reason. You don't just get to be the underdog because you keep saying it. Again, remember what the Rizzler said. A lion, it doesn't just say a lion doesn't say that they're a lion. They just are. We just roar. Time to roar.
Exclusively on Daily Wire Plus.
On the accession of a present ruler, so great was the number of those wantonly slain that a large trench was made in the ground in which a canoe was placed. The blood of the murdered men was conducted by conduits into the trench until its quantity was sufficient to float the boat. This was the level of barbarism that defined the intra-African slave trade.
Yeah, obviously very racially charged terms, right? Barbarism, like savage, right? He's really going for it. And, intra-African slave trade, right? The sort of read between the lines.
But not just that, it's also completely just forgetting about any of the actual slavery that was done in the Americas to just go look at this other stuff that happened elsewhere. Isn't that bad? Okay, well, can we look at what happened in the Americas as well? Because it's not as though the slave owners that were purchasing these slaves had like an in-depth historical knowledge of these other kingdoms in Africa. That's just not. And then they were just like, we're just living up to their history. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It just doesn't make any sense. And again, if your argument is purely that it's just a different time period, are you saying that is okay then? You're saying that because it was a different time, that makes it justifiably okay. Or
He's
even
talking about
good, maybe, you might say.
black on black crime, right? That's what he's talking about. That's what he's emphasizing. Absolutely no different from people trying to argue that, that violence in black communities is because of like the...
Walsh is increasingly sounding like Alex Jones. I wish Alex Jones and Matt Walsh were the same. Have you ever seen them in a room together? Something to think about.
Culture.
If Alex Jones meets Matt Walsh, that'll cause like a rift in the space-time continuum. Can't have that happen.
And stuff like that, right? It's just a racist dog whistle.
Slavery and barbarism were a fundamental part of their culture. But that's never addressed by mainstream historians, nor are the details on the enslavers in Dahomey.
It's so funny because it quite literally is. Like, we understand, and again, it's just that argument is only used to negate the evils and atrocities done in the Americas. We understand that you can't just buy slaves that don't exist, right? Like, they're... But let's not act like that's like, come on. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is addressed by them. It is addressed. It is. Just because Matt Walsh has never read a university press published book in his sad, miserable, failed screenwriter little life does not mean that mainstream historians have not talked about the kingdom of the Dahomey. I guarantee you that they fucking have.
Most of us have no idea what
Well, of course they have. How else would Matt Walsh have known about this? If not for the historians. Well, it's because of this new wave of counter history coming out, counter historians that are trying to uncover the truth. Where would they be getting their information from? From historians, from history. It's like, it's just so... Historians are only bad when they disagree with me.
Nutrients actually are, but thankfully our sponsor, Balance of Nature, understands the importance of them. Phytonutrients are naturally occurring plant nutrients in whole foods that actually give fruits and vegetables their color, taste, and smell.
Do I really have to read this, Hans? Very well.
Jesus, this dude's got a lot of historical pieces. Not just historical pieces, I guess, just like, because he also just had swords from different places. He seems to be a worldly man. Maybe I shouldn't say that while he's dressed as a Nazi.
Good balance of nature contains all the phytonutrients that a growing Aryan boy could need, with the purest fibers from German-grown vegetables.
How are you doing, Quasar? I'm doing good. You're probably confused, but I'm doing good. How about you?
Put into a special industrial process invented right here in Germany with minimal slave labor and ethical slave labor, I should say. And you know it is pure because it is made in Germany. You get 50% off of the Balance of Nature if you go there now to their website and type in Heil Hitler. And Heil Hitler to you all watching at home.
Slavery's roots go back at least to ancient times.
I gotta admit, bro, the bit went on for a bit long. I forgot that you were just doing a parody of Matt Walsh running his ad.
In Babylonia, Egypt, Greece, and Rome, as well as the Amerindian empires in Mexico and South America.
Okay, so now he's just doing a Wikipedia dump of like the entire history of slavery, and once again, the implication is clear. It's that everybody's hands are dirty. Did you think I was going to do the rest of the video with this Nazi coat on? I'm not. The implication is that everybody's hands are dirty, and that America looks good in comparison, but this information is not morally relevant to the atrocities of the transatlantic slave trade.
This is the town of Baltimore in County Cork, Ireland. The tranquility of its rocky shoreline was shattered on the night of June 20th, 1631. Islamic pirates, led by a commander named Morat the Younger, arrived banging war drums and screaming in Arabic. These pirates were Janissaries, and they were raised from a young age to become fearsome monk-like fighters for the Ottoman Empire. Some of the Janissaries would have been yelling while others responded with shouts of Allah, Allah.
You notice that little Islamophobic cut in there, the Allah, Allah, you know? It's just like, you know, kind of Allahu Akbar, you know, like, remember 9/11? Remember that? Allah, Allah, scary, scary, Muslim scary.
I mean, it's like, it's so funny too, because it's like they'll say some stuff like this, but then when you throw it back into like Christianity being like Catholics are pedophiles, and like you throw things at other people, it's like no, that's just, you don't understand, that's just one sect of you don't get it. That's not everybody. No, that's not all Catholicism. I think Matt Walsh might be a Catholic too. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, he's a traditional Catholic, so yeah, it's literally a whataboutism.
Really wanted to emphasize that these guys were devout Muslims.
Yeah, no one defends atrocities besides Matt Walsh and Hassan Piker. Just put them in a room together and let them battle it out. A meeting of the minds.
Didn't they?
With total ferocity, they killed and maimed, they raped the women and girls, dismembered infants, desecrated churches.
Okay, so what he's trying to do here is to basically try to bait us into doing like an atrocity Olympics, where we would sort of have to defend or downplay the Barbary pirates or the Ottoman slavers. The Muslim slave trade was extensive. It was horrible, but from a perspective of like American politics, which this is a political commentator that we are watching right now, not a historian, not a history communicator, a political commentator, right? And he made...
Well, yeah, he's not trying to do like an overarching historical overview of slavery across the world. What he's doing is a whitewashing of the American slave trade as not as bad as other slave trades around the world. And it's, I mean, again, it's, you can say, if you want to make that argument, okay, would you rather get stabbed or shot? Pick one right now. Let's go. It's going to happen in 5 minutes. You got a little bit of time. Stabbed or shot. Go. Like, what?
Made his views and his intentions very clear up front, right? He said the first thing he said in this documentary was that this is sort of we're going to tell it to the fucking idiot school teachers and the people who are trying to demoralize the white man, right? This is what he's doing. He tells us, he's very honest about it. We should listen to him. When we look at American politics today, the Muslim slave trade has no significant cultural, social, or economic
relevance at all.
Legacy. However,
it's not even the legacy. It just has no relevance to any of the topics. Like, unless you're just trying to, again, speak an overarching, you're making some claim about Islam as a whole. Like, that's the only thing that would be used for, is to be like, well, we don't want Muslims in America because of blah, blah, blah. It's just like, that's literally the same, it's the only reason you would say that. It has nothing to do with the American slave trade, with the transatlantic slave trade, except, again, to whitewash one or the other.
The transatlantic slave trade looms very, very large in our legacy, in our cultural memory as a nation, in the inequitable sort of distribution of wealth that we currently have in this country. Our economic system, our social system, our interpersonal relations are all...
Well, that's the thing, is you are understanding history. Matt Walsh would say that all of those things are untrue because of these odd historical claims that actually, again, have no relevance to the conversations at hand. Which I do think is kind of just I think that's the point, right? On some level, it's to confuse above all things.
All profoundly affected by this binary, this racial binary that the transatlantic slave trade brought forth. You know, it's a story, it's a myth, right? The myth of racism exists to justify the economic exploitation of West Africans, right? Oh, they're inferior. Oh, they're basically animals, you know, so we can do all these awful things to them for our own greed.
Yeah, and the same thing with depiction of indigenous people as savages. It was, I mean, he was pointing that out earlier with calling I already forgot what the country was, talking about the African people being barbaric. Like it's the same principle at the end of the day. Mahoney?
Right. That's why racism exists. That's why people invented it in the 17th, 18th century. Of course, that would be very relevant to discussions of contemporary politics. Of course, that would loom very large in our history.
Dahomey, that's it. Sorry, Dahomey. I will remember that. And it's Benin. Yeah, modern day Benin. Interesting. Okay.
It is only right and proper that we emphasize it.
According to the book, The Forgotten Slave Trade, historian Simon Webb described this shocking contemporaneous account.
Oh, Simon Webb isn't a historian. He's a racist YouTuber. Here he is defending hate crimes.
Hello again. In Britain in recent years, we've become used to the constant propaganda relating to hate, which includes, of course, hate speech, hate crimes, and so on.
Here he is calling for an English ethno-state.
Hello again. I want to speak today about the idea of the multicultural society.
Here he is comparing brown people to orcs.
Hello again. I have in the past speculated about the possible effects of the mixing of different human species in the distant past. The mingling of Homo sapiens with Neanderthals in Europe and Western Asia, and the breeding of a new type of human in Africa, as the original Homo sapiens there crossed with various so-called ghost populations of more primitive.
Isn't it that the white population has a higher Neanderthal like DNA percentage, like on average?
Strains of humanity. Of course, this process of progress and decline has continued right up to the present day, with some populations becoming more developed and advanced.
Yeah, individuals of European descent along with those of Asian descent typically have more Neanderthal DNA compared to people of sub-Saharan African descent. He has an accent, so he must be right. Oh, my bad.
Advanced than others, while some groups breed with their own relatives and so decline in vitality and sophistication.
Hi. Periodic reminder that if you appreciate what we do here at Atunche Films, consider
Atunche. Okay, now I know how to say it.
supporting us on Patreon.
No, I'll just say your name right from now on. My bad.
One of the most shocking slave trades did not involve Europeans at all. It involved an Arab-run slave trade operation in East Africa, roughly around the same time as the Middle Passage was bringing slaves from places like Dahomey to Brazil. Zanzibar became the biggest slave market in the world. By some estimates, as many as 17 million East Africans were sold into slavery over 1,300 years, dwarfing the transatlantic slave trade. Now, the reality is that the East African slave trade, which exceeded the West African slave trade in its duration, barbarity, and quantity of slaves, has received relatively little attention from academics and journalists. That's because it's not a useful tool for a demoralization campaign against white Americans.
It's not useful as a demoralization campaign. Okay, well, I think that's pretty rich because you don't actually give a fuck about African history beyond what you can sort of scrape for your propaganda, do you?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's literally just saying they don't want to say it because it makes white people look better. What? No, it doesn't. It quite literally just doesn't also. It doesn't have the effect that he thinks that it has. It doesn't shape... It honestly doesn't shape the opinions on slavery, I think, at all. I think it would only embolden those who are already racist and thought that slavery wasn't that bad. That one video of the guy being like, "We lost our farm under this flag," talking about the Confederate flag, and they were like, "We protected our farm," and then a protester goes, "And who ran that farm?" And they went, "You think we had slaves? You know how much a slave cost back then?" Crazy video. Dude was saying, it's not that we didn't want them. We just couldn't afford it. We were broke.
Matthew. You'd think that the Zanzibar slave trade that he's talking about here, since it lasted over 1,000 years, would merit a bit more of a mention in this real history of slavery. But this whole section was like 3 minutes at most, 2.5. Maybe he could display the same perceptible moral outrage about this violence against.
Also, a very simple, like a quick look. Just looking at it, it says, it is unknown when slave trade from Zanzibar started, and it may have existed also before the Arabs arrived to the area in the 8th century, during the Middle Ages. Okay, so it's like, that's probably why it's also not talked about as much, as it seems like historically there isn't as much known. And again, it's like, what does that change? I don't understand what that materially changes about the slavery elsewhere. Just to say one is worse than the other.
Black Africans, as he did about.
And again, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't just go to every white American and be like, you're a slave owner, you're a former slave owner, your family owns slaves. That isn't like a productive way to handle your time. But to try and like reduce the actual severity, like through your speech, trying to act like it wasn't as bad as it really was, is just like, it's just weird because it's all, like I'm saying, it's not fooling anybody. I guess a lot of these people are hoping to probably just pull in like younger people, right? It's like they want to pull in some people that they can brainwash a little bit.
Muslims raping Irish people. But of course he won't do that because he hates black people and thinks that you guys are subhuman.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your family, it's better to be prepared. That's why I'm a member of Ammo Squared.
Why does he look so fucking swollen? Pardon my French, but like, look at him. Like, it's not just the beard, like his whole, like it looks like he like just injected like a big syringe of silicone into his head. He just went, and it just went. There's something wrong with him. I didn't notice this before.
To protecting yourself and your family, it's better to be prepared. That's why I'm a member of Ammo Squared. Ammo Squared.
Like, he can't even keep his eyes open. They're just like, everything's shutting.
Squared lets you build an ammo reserve of your calibers steadily, month by month, without drama or excuses. Your options are endless. They have 75 caliber variations from over 85 ammunition manufacturers. There's also no need to have extra storage space laying around your house. They handle all the storage for you so you can get what you need when you need.
When you are defending yourself from the Red Army that comes screaming over the...
No, stop the Hitler Act. Stop the Hitler Act. It doesn't help when people are jumping into the stream for me. They're not receptive to it.
Kills, you will need Ammo Squared to hold onto your ammunition for you. This makes sure that in the event of a Bolshevik attack or a Jewish conspiracy, that all of your ammunition that you might need to defend your blonde-haired, blue-eyed family is not available on hand. It is in fact in a warehouse somewhere in Dusseldorf. The reason that you should pay...
Isn't Dusseldorf where Dr. Doofenshmirtz is from?
For this incredible service, instead of simply keeping your ammunition at home where you can actually access it, is...
Dusseldorf, Israel. Am I also right that that is where Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz is from? Doofenshmirtz. Where's he from? No, he was in Drusselstein. Oh, okay. Sorry, I got that wrong. Oh, Germans. Oh, you silly Germans.
Is it is because Ammo Squared gives glory to the Führer. Sieg Heil.
On the morning of June 14th...
Again, I know you're just parodying Matt Walsh, but it just doesn't read right.
1786, Captain James Moore's family woke up on what seemed to be a normal day in Southwest Virginia. But as they left the family's cabin to tend to their farm animals, the fearful war whoop was heard. And a raiding party of Ohio Valley Shawnee Indians rode down a ridgeline and attacked them. Captain Moore was shot 7 times before being tomahawked and scalped. The Indians then murdered 3 of his children, leaving only his family members who were locked inside the cabin. Much like the Barbary pirates, the Indians broke into the house, shot the dogs, plundered and burned the home, killed the livestock, and took Moore's wife and surviving children captive.
Okay, so why would these horrible savage Indians do such a thing? It's very funny that he mentions, he woke up in the morning and tended to his farm animals, and that the natives killed the livestock. It's almost as though animal agriculture was the fucking foremost cause of land hunger in North American, the history of the United States. In terms of westward expansion. So, why would these natives kill these farmed animals? Well, probably because those farmed animals were literally taking away their land, right? Cows and pigs, you need a lot of land. Indigenous people in the eastern woodlands did not have domesticated animals in the same way as Europeans did. They did not have the land use requirements that Europeans did, which were massive.
And again, it's like, if you want to say this, like, again, it's like it's trying to justify the actions that were done as if there weren't already like actions done before that. Because again, it's this idea of like the savages or the noble savages, whatever the fuck. When it's just like, do we not want to talk? We want to talk about scalp bounties. We want to talk about that because you can talk about how the indigenous peoples were already scalping each other, and that's how they would. There were ways in which they would show. That was how they would show their kill, and it was like a ritualistic purpose. Well, it's like, okay, well, what about how when how like the U.S. government and also other South American governments took this idea and then put out scalp bounties to go get Native Americans killed, like, because it was like, okay, we're going to send out colonial settlers or whatever, and send out also some Native American indigenous bounty hunters as well to hunt their own people. It went both ways. It's very and that's the thing. It's like we can talk about the history, but none of this history negates from the atrocities done in like what you see as reciprocation. Like, come on.
Because of their dependence on animal agriculture. So yeah, obviously they're going to kill the farmed animals because those animals are a symbol to them of the European hunger for land. Obviously, this is not to excuse what they're doing. It is simply to explain it. If you want to hear a little bit about a raid like this.
But again, it's like, it's utilizing something that we can talk and explain, and then people like Matt Walsh see that explanation as a justification to say that, okay, what the indigenous people do in killing, like, it's like, what? So you like the Comanche? You think the Comanche were cool going around and killing other tribes? It's like, is that what I'm saying? No, it's two wrongs do not make a right. Evil begets evil, or whatever the Bible says. Like, come on.
A very famous raid like this that happened in Massachusetts in the 1690s, and how sort of the European perspective of just, creepy brown guys coming out of the woods and tomahawking, everybody and killing the dogs is like a little bit misleading. You should check out my video called Hannah Dustin and the Cycle of Violence in King Billy.
Well, because it's also like, you have to understand the context of the types of lifestyle that they lived in. Because yeah, there were a lot of wars and stuff that happened within the Americas. Like, there were civilizations that grew, like literally empires that completely rose and fell before even colonization started or colonialization started. And it's just like again, that we can talk about the history, we can talk about the wars, we can talk about the atrocities committed there as well, but like, we could do the same thing for Europe, we could do the same thing for Asia, we could do the same thing for the Americas, we could do the same thing for Africa. None of it is good, and the whole thing is about trying to overcome the histories of our people's atrocities. I just don't understand how that's like so hard to get. It's always just it's never an explanation, it's always an excuse.
William's War. which is going to be linked somewhere around here.
To give you a sense of the savagery of the Indians, when one of the surviving sons, John, fell behind on the journey, an Indian split his head open with a tomahawk. They reached Detroit in December, where in a drunken frolic, one of the surviving daughters, Mary Moore, was sold into slavery for a few gallons of rum.
Those drunken, savage Indians. So once again, he is just taking a colonizer, a sensationalist colonizer account totally uncritically. Once again, even if everything in this account, in this, what he's saying, was totally true, and I'm not familiar with this incident that he's talking about that happened in Virginia, and it very well may be. I mean, yeah, Native warriors did fucking unspeakable things in this period. It's still obfuscating and ignoring the context of land theft and economic entrapment, which often precipitated indigenous groups taking captives. You would think that Matt Walsh would be a little bit interested in why these indigenous war parties are doing this, but I would assume that he just sort of chalks it up to their savagery and their thirst for blood, just like with the Muslims and.
Well, because again, yeah, it's not an actual historical analysis of the attack. It's just a claim of what happened. You know, a statement of something that historically is true for some ulterior motive that is, you know, underhanded, let's say. It's just, I mean, it's truly just manipulation in its truest form.
Everybody non-white in this scenario is that they're just bloodthirsty and genetically predisposed to violence and savagery, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. Can't be any kind of like motive of vengeance. There could be no sort of sense of economic gain, which you'd think, especially when he was talking about the Barbary pirates, that would be like kind of a big part of it. There's just no perspective whatsoever given to the non-whites in this story or in any of the stories that he's telling.
The vast majority of white slaves in the United States were owned by fellow whites, somewhere between 60 and...
Also, I'm so confused by this map that he had, like he's using. What the fuck is this?
The vast majority of white...
Why is it this weird overlapping map to show... Like, I feel like this is highly unnecessary, because I think these might be historical maps. But I feel like you have enough people where you could probably create some kind of, like, graphic to help, like, illustrate this better than having these overlapping things that clearly do not line up properly. Like, these line up all right, okay. But yeah, there's some issues over here in Africa and stuff too. It's just, I don't know, maybe I'm looking into it too deeply. It is not Walsh at the end of the day.
Were owned by fellow whites. Somewhere between 60 and 70% of white immigrants to the American colonies arrived in bondage, often involuntarily. An estimated 350,000 arrived between 1620 and 1776, in numbers that likely far exceeded the number of black slaves who arrived in the 1600s. Mortality rates on the journey to the colonies often exceeded 20%. Many of them were legally classified as indentured servants.
Okay. Indentured servants had a contract, dude.
Yeah, indentured servitude is a contract that you have that you either buy, you've either sold yourself into, or sometimes you've been sold into, but the contract then usually has either an end time or some other stipulations added onto it, which is completely different than the whole wholesale ownership of another human being. Because again, people sold themselves into indentured servitude as well. That's literally just not the same thing at all. That's fucking so stupid. And it's weird that I mean, good on him for, like, stating that at least, I guess. They actually got paid, and yeah, it was well, that's the thing, is if you sold yourself into indentured servitude, it was usually to pay off a debt, or it was for the ability to make some kind of, like, small amounts of money over time. Yeah, even if the conditions were trash, they were still, it was in regards to some contract that they, and I think there are cases of indentured servitude that people are placed under based upon, like, again, conditions like you owe somebody else money, so then you're going to have to go work for them as an indentured servant, yada, yada, yada. And then that their contracts can be sold to other people and so on and so forth. And there obviously becomes issues in that as well, which is why that's also not great. But it is still different than slavery. It's just ridiculous, but okay.
Indentured servants had an expiration date to their service. The slave had no hope of freedom.
Well, and also the other big one is usually indentured servants. Like the big difference between that and chattel slavery is the whole aspect of your children. Any children that you have are not included within your contract and would thus be free to do whatever they, were to do. And obviously that might come into play considering like your monetary, needs, but that might come into question. But that's, again, besides the point of the actual topic at hand. Very bizarre thing to bring up.
And neither did their children or their friends or anyone in their culture. I would say that is a pretty significant difference.
Many were subjected to conditions of such brutality, duration, and heritability that historians increasingly regard slave as the more accurate term. There's no question that indentured servitude...
Okay, and what they're saying is he's adding on these different...
duration and heritability that
he's adding these other conditions that would make it closer to slavery that are just not... It's like, okay, then what you're talking about is not indentured servitude. What you're talking about is slavery. Again, these are two different things. And if you want to say that it is classified as indentured servitude, but then add these other like things on top of it to be like, but then some of it could be considered slavery though. Like, okay, but then that's not the vast majority of what you were talking about, which you were saying was a larger percentage, like a larger group of people than the Africans that came through the transatlantic slave trade. Like, it's just... There's an inconsistency here. The brutal conditions, indefinite terms, in some cases heritable. I feel like this is far and few between. This isn't very common in indentured servitude and involuntary transfer. This part is true, and that's the part I was talking about, that you could be sold off to another person as a servant because you to get whoever you owed money to their wealth back. So then they could sell you off. And I could see that possibly being the case for some of these people sent to the U.S. I mean, that might be true, but again, it's still different.
Historians increasingly regard slave as the more accurate term. There's no question that indentured servitude was slavery. And in colonial America, white and black slaves.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not against saying that it's a form of slavery, but again, you're trying to compare them as if they are, if this is worse, not even that they are equal. And again, there's levels to this shit. Let's not forget.
According to NPR, which admits America's first slaves.
Oop, we finally got a title and a thumbnail. The Great Nelk Breakup of 2026. H3 show number 253. Nelk Breakup? I thought they already hated each other. I didn't know that they were still on good terms at all.
Were white.
One thing I talk about in my documentary series, The Birth of an American Town, is about how often relationships would form between English sort of Puritan teenage girls and Scottish male indentured servants of a similar age. There's actually sort of legal documents from the town of Sudbury, Massachusetts, which the documentary series is about a teenage Puritan girl being sort of found out for fornication, for sort of having sex with the cute Scottish boy who works for the family, and basically her being horrified by the prospect that she had to marry the dude, which is relatable. But obviously, right, that is a very different scenario versus what would happen if, say, in Virginia or Georgia at a similar period, if a black slave had sex with a white, daughter of the planter or whatever. What would be the resolution to that? Would it have just been like a bit of a scandal and, a couple of people got tried for fornication and some people paid a fine and it all blew over? No.
I mean, I think we can look back in the history and see what happened pretty clearly.
That African boy would have been fucking torn limb from limb. So he would have been torn limb from limb for fucking doffing his hat to the fucking girl, right? So obviously, as fucked up as it was for the Scottish, we are talking about two different animals here, very distinctly, right? And we are certainly talking about two different legacies within American culture today.
One report from Virginia Governor William Berkeley noted that the number of white slaves arriving vastly outnumbered black, quote, "We suppose there come in of servants about 1,500, of which most are English, few Scotch, fewer Irish, and not above 2 or 3 ships of Negroes in 7 years."
So again, let's talk about the implication, as Dennis would say. So the implication is that Scottish and Irish people can lay claim to the same level of grievance.
Yeah, and also Scotland played a significant role in the. Yeah, so Scots were disproportionately involved as plantation owners, merchants, and investors in the Caribbean and the Americas, with Glasgow, Edinburgh, and the Highlands benefiting heavily from the slave-derived wealth. So it's also, like, again, do we want to talk about the whole history of it, or do we want to just talk about the aspects that make the white people look good? And like, that's the thing is, I'm not saying, like, we shouldn't just be like, oh, white people are evil, in the same way that you shouldn't be like, oh, black people are evil. It's like, no, there are people throughout history that, again, they wanted to divide and conquer. They want us to hate each other, so stop it. And if your family is one of the ones that benefited off of slavery, I can see why you might be mad at us, but hey, purple quasar supremacy, of course, let's all be purple, right? It's our best bet.
As black people, for the legacy of slavery, completely ignoring how the concept of race and whiteness evolved over the centuries, right? Scottish and Irish people today are white. They blend in. They are not a distinct culture. It was not like it was back then, when you had these national and especially religious bigotries and boundaries that were very meaningful. Though, once again, when it comes to sort of English bigotries, certainly in my area of expertise, which is Massachusetts Bay Colony, specifically, you had people saying after King Philip's War, talking about Native American slaves, that they advocated for harsh treatment of and enslavement of Native Americans based on the fact that they also did it to the Scots, and they would basically say, like, are we going to treat them better than we did the Scots? Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, obviously they're more inferior than the Scots. So even at that time, right, even with this very powerful ethnic bias that the English had against the Scottish, it was not on the same level as their bias and their bigotry toward Africans and Native Americans. And it's disingenuous to pretend that it was.
But it wasn't just the slaves that were multiracial. It was the slaveholders too. At slavery's peak in 1860, thousands of slaves were owned by Choctaws, Cherokees, Creeks, and Chickasaw Indians.
So yeah, they did, because they were emulating white people, because they were trying to fit in with...
Yeah, they were trying... Oh my God, like, it's literally just so clear why that would be. Oh, you mean the people that were being colonized started to, like, fall in line with their colonizers? Oh, I wonder why that would be. And also, why are, like, again, what would be the point of bringing this up if you don't think that the type of chattel slavery was bad? Like, if you don't think it was that bad, what would be the point of bringing this aspect up? Again, it's only because he only cares about the fact that we only talk about the white ones. We only talk about the white ones. No, that's just the only aspect you care about, is the fact that they were white. That's the only aspect you care about.
Southern society. There is a reason that white Southerners called these native nations the 5 civilized tribes. Is because they fucking owned slaves, because they took part in this system of slavery.
When the American journalist and social critic Frederick Law Olmsted visited Mississippi in the early 1860s, he described meeting a black man who told him there were, quote, many free Negroes all about this region. Some were very rich. He pointed out to me 3 plantations within 20 miles owned by colored men.
I'll bet you any amount of money that these guys were, 1/8 to 1/16 black Passe Blanc French Creoles.
They were very bad masters, very hard and cruel. If he had got to be sold, he would like best to have an American master by him. The French, black Creole masters were very severe.
Yeah, of course, because on the Gulf Coast, there was a completely different system of racial hierarchy than there was in the rest of the South. It was much more tied into the Caribbean and South American ideas of racial hierarchy, which had a little bit more wiggle room. In which, if you you were passe blanc down here in Louisiana, if you were passe blanc, you could pass for white. Then you know, fucking P.T. Beauregard was probably passe blanc. P.T. Beauregard probably had fucking black ancestry. Like a bunch of the fucking.
I'm slipping on my history. What was the thing called where white settlers made natives try to be white, like putting them in European clothes and changing their hair? I forget the term. Yeah, just like forced assimilation into the norms of the time, trying to make them. And usually it was like by like taking native children and putting them in schools. I forget what the schools were called. Yeah, because they just called them American Indian boarding schools. Yeah, residential schools. And they were the objective of civilizing or assimilating Native American children and youth into Anglo-American culture. Yeah. And you can look into the history of that. It's all crazy too.
Plantation owners here did. And do you know why? Because they're, you know, daddies, granddaddies, and great-granddaddies raped black women. That's why.
In some cases, black slaveholders purchased relatives and spouses philanthropically, rescuing them from other slaveholders. But according to the black historian Carter Godwin Woodson, they often simply bought and sold slaves like white traders. He even described one case in which, quote, a Negro shoemaker in Charleston, South Carolina purchased his wife for $700, but on finding her hard to please, he sold her a few months thereafter for $750.
The joke is he hates his wife. Fucking wives. Women.
In the 1860 census, at the very height of slavery, there were 393,975 slave owners in the U.S. out of a total population of over 31 million. That translates to about 1.2% of the population.
Okay, so we're just making shit up now, huh? So the real number was 30% in slaveholding states. That was the vast majority of slaves were in slaveholding states. South of Mason-Dixon line, 30% of households owned people or rented people. That is an incredibly entrenched practice, right? It is not the tiny minority. I don't know where he's getting this fucking number, but it is fucking wrong. Like, even people who fucking slide into my fucking DMs and are trying to fucking, you know, splurge on Robert E. Lee and make it my fucking problem, even they have the dignity to say stuff like 3 or 5%, right? Again, also a lie, but 1.2%, like, no. We're talking about 30% in slaveholding states. That's according to the 1860 census.
Oh, so the 3 to 5% would just be in all states, including those where it's abolished, where slavery was abolished. Is that the point that they were trying to? It's so fucking dumb. It's so dumb.
And did I mention?
Or just states that have slaves, and then maybe there were some states that just didn't even have any slaves. I don't know if that's true, but
that Matt Walsh belongs.
I just have never heard slave holding states as like a
jail.
The U.S. slaves population kept growing after slave imports were banned in 1808. Unlike other parts of the Americas where deaths exceeded births, the U.S. ended up with nearly 4 million slaves in 1860, despite only 400,000 arrivals. Now, one reason for the better conditions could be incentives. With the import ban, slave owners' best source of slaves was high birth rates. Buying more was really expensive.
Okay, so he is implying here that American masters enslavers had a material interest in treating enslaved people well so that they would be more likely to breed. What he's leaving out was the
forced breeding of slaves to, yeah, like what? See, they're being kind to them in the hopes that they copulate. What the fuck are you talking about?
Extensive system of forced breeding.
Yeah.
Which enslavers subjugated black women to. Do you really think they're just going to treat them well and leave it up to chance? No. It's just going to be like at a fucking pig farm today. They're going to fucking forcibly inseminate these women by, getting some big guy that they think has good genes and say, like, go have sex with her and don't take no for an answer. This is a system of,
and again, and if you want to, and some people would probably turn that into like, well, why would they do it? Well, they're doing it too. They're going along with it. And it's like, well, it's either that or again, be very harshly punished. So like it's just on every level, you can just see through how like heinous and evil these things were. And trying to like sugarcoat it or put like a fucking little veil over it of some kind of like positive that you could derive is just insane. Absolutely insane.
The import ban. This is a system of institutionalized rape of black women that went on for decades. That's what he's trying to excuse.
Our sponsor, Grand Canyon University, is an affordable private Christian university.
Oh my
based in
fucking
beautiful
God,
Phoenix,
another
Arizona.
fucking sponsorship.
In 1800, there was not a single country on earth that had abolished slavery by law. Not one. By 1900, Britain, France, the United States, Denmark, the Netherlands, Spain, Portugal had all outlawed it. Every single abolition took place in societies under European control or heavy European pressure. In a perfect Orwellian twist of irony, it turns out white...
There is a blood feud between Destiny and Hassan that predates all of this. Hassan and Destiny are actually the actual cause of the transatlantic slave trade. I believe it. Were you a little bit far back?
White men are the heroes of the slavery story.
White men are the real heroes of slavery. Or maybe slavery was no longer...
Yeah, it's also the active brainwashing and stuff and stripping slaves of education, that too. Possibly like having people that might not even understand like the true severity of those things because of like not just the lack of education, it's both of those things like compounding upon each other of like a lack of education plus the brutality at which they face. So then something like this is just kind of like a secondary thing. That's a good point.
Longer profitable in the way it once was. Maybe sort of the creation of the proletariat had made the whole notion of like a cash crop colony obsolete. Didn't mean that slavery was over. Didn't mean that the colonial powers stopped profiting from slavery. Colonial powers and imperial powers continue to benefit from slave labor to this very day. From the clothes you wear to the fucking tech that you're watching this fucking platform on, right? There's lots of slave labor involved. But the sort of transatlantic slave trade, chattel slavery, was simply not profitable for Britain anymore. Not in the same way. So yeah, they could afford to take the moral high ground. I think I'm done with this. There's only a few minutes left, and I don't think I want to watch anymore. I think I'm done. What to say? What can I say? I think this is a great example of how these moneyed interests, these billionaires and their millionaire stooges, are coming for your history, coming for your cultural heritage, and especially if you're watching this and you're black. They want you to forget your ancestors, forget everything they went through. They want to trivialize what they went through and how they pulled through and how they survived. They want to trivialize that. They want you to forget about where you came from. They want you to, obviously they hate you. You know that.
Not gonna lie, you probably should have written this part out. You're kind of stammering a little bit here. But we get the point. The rest of the video is very articulate, so I'm a little thrown off by this ending.
But they also hate that your ancestors pulled through and survived, despite all of it. They hate that. And obviously, as we saw from all those ads, they have found a very profitable niche in history denial. I mean, a video like this from a big channel, 3 million subscribers with 4 ad reads. I mean, that's tens of thousands of dollars just in advertising, in sponsorships, I should say, that the Daily Wire made from this, that Matt Walsh made from this. Tens of thousands at minimum. At minimum. I mean, we might be talking about hundreds of thousands. There are some like crazy big money sponsorships out there. And you know, if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, it's something that I don't think I've mentioned yet, which is that Matt Walsh is the lapdog of fossil fuel executives who are trying to dangle culture war shit in front of you to distract you from the fact that they are destroying the biosphere of this planet for profit. Matt Walsh is knowingly spreading disinformation in order to do the bidding of his vampiric Epstein-class overlords. All of the billionaires, except for James Cameron. I love you, James. Big Jim. And Matt Walsh all belong in fucking prison. Good night.
Is this sponsored by Shell? Wait, what? Fourth quarter and full year 2025 results. Consistent delivery with more to come. Shell PLC.
Welcome, everyone. Today, Sinead and I will present Shell's fourth quarter and full year 2025 results. 2025 was another year of consistent delivery and real progress. We continued to execute with discipline and delivered against our targets in service of becoming the world's leading integrated energy company. We have raised the bar on operational performance. We are showing more discipline and making great progress to deliver more value with less emissions. And there is so much more to come. Lower costs, further performance improvements supported by the transformative potential of AI, and a higher returning portfolio of world-leading franchise businesses. All of this gives us confidence for the road ahead. Thank you.
Great video, honestly. Oh,
because I finally joined.
What perfect timing. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Go check out some Ethan Klein gloving. Wow, fucking literally perfect timing. That's incredible. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember, like and subscribe if you haven't already. I do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll be back again with some more content. Coming soon, coming at you. I'm trying to come up with a new video I'm trying to release before this other video comes out because I'm waiting on that now. But I'll keep everybody updated. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been fun. This is Captain Quasar signing off.